That's weird. That's weird. Kind of wearing me out.
You are a sad, strange little man.
Crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy. Isn't that weird?
That's weird, man.
It's strange.
What's up, campers? Welcome back to episode 64 of Camp Strange. I am your camp counselor, Alex Tobin.
And I'm your other camp counselor, David Stokes.
And we're back to bring the spooky, wacky, weird, strange, and tasteful. Tasteful?
Yeah, I mean, that works with my news story.
Oh, okay, well, I'll let you... Before we go into these news stories, I'll tell you, before we go into these longer stories, we like to catch you up on the news. So, David, please tell us your weird news that you have for us.
You can now eat fried chicken that tastes like, and in quotes, girls' feet.
No, wait, what?
Yeah.
Gorillas or girls?
Girls.
Okay, what do... okay, so many questions. So, 1, what do girls' feet taste like? 2, what do they do differently to the chicken? 3, who wants to buy this? 4... Wouldn't you rather just have a regular foot if you like the taste of it? Not like eating a foot, but like, I don't know. Why am I defending this?
Well, it is, if you want to guess what country this is coming from?
Oh, it's not in America. Where do they like feet? China.
It's not so much where do they like feet, it's more of where will a KFC make flavoring of this?
China?
Japan.
They got some kinky stuff over there in Asia, so yeah, I believe it.
Yep, it's a new flavor called Girls Soul, and it's not with a U.
Girls. I thought it was possessed chicken. There's a girl's soul trapped in that chicken.
No, you don't got to pay the toll for this soul.
Okay, so it's feet that taste like chicken. It's chicken that tastes like feet. Fried chicken that tastes like girls.
No. Tastes like girls' feet.
That's the weird thing.
The more specific you get with it, the worse it is.
That's like just like a marketing thing, right? Where it's like the girls' feet, so guys, because they know that their market is like weird guys who like the taste of girls' feet. Because girls are probably just like, nah, I'm good. I don't want that. You know, even if they like the taste of feet, they probably just be like, I'm definitely not gonna go to a KFC and order that in public.
Yeah. So right here, I'm gonna read this to you. Yep, you read that.
DoorDashed.
Yep, you read that right. This fetish-inspired flavor claims to mimic the smell and stickiness of the underside of a young woman's foot, thanks to natto, a type of fermented soybean placed over the chicken.
Yo, that is so fucking disgusting.
Yep.
Did you just say the smell and stickiness or the taste and stickiness?
Yeah, no, it says stickiness.
Oh my god. How sticky are people's feet? My feet are never sticky.
That's a new one to me. One of my least favorite things in the world is when I feel like I'm sticky. Like if my hands feel sticky, I will freak the fuck out. Like I hate that feeling.
You know what the other thing I really don't like is, you know, like when you walk, there's two things. When you walk into like a place that's like deep frying food and your clothes smell like that deep fryer oil. Mm-hmm. Like you go to like a chicken and waffles place, like
or the Subway smell.
Subway.
I don't know anywhere in the world that makes you smell like anything like Subway. When you leave a Subway sandwich place, you smell like Subway.
Oh, also what I was thinking of is campfire smell, which I like campfire smell, but when it's in your hair, that's like I'm sick of it now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's weird when it. Well, that's new.
Yep.
Hey, David, you want to go to Japan?
Yep.
You want to get some chicken?
Ooh.
Anyway, well, here's my news story because man has 12-centimeter flesh-eating tapeworm removed, which had eaten his brain for 15 years. Which, if there's another thing that you weren't scared of, here you go.
Boy, I mean, you'd think he's got that's a hell of a 15-year run by a fucking parasite.
Yeah. I just lost the page because my computer crashed, motherfucker. But
good thing you don't record.
But yeah,
Knock on wood.
Oh, I got it back right here. So this guy Wang Li started to feel numbness down the left side of his body in 2007 and continued to have health problems. So they went in and they found like a malignant brain tumor, and they're like, okay, we're gonna take this out and you're okay. But then he just still had, like, over the years it worsened and he started to have seizures and blackouts. And
so
all that kind of stuff.
He actually had a brain tumor.
I think he did have like a mass in his brain.
Okay.
It was malignant.
What was it? Parasite poop?
I don't know what it was. Like, maybe it was just coincidental. Maybe he just also had it. But, like, Then they found out that he's having seizures and blackouts and stuff, so they did another scan, and they found a tapeworm. And the thing about tapeworms is, like, if you try to remove them and, like, a bit gets stuck in there, they'll grow back to, like, their, they'll keep
Some
growing
nasty
and growing.
motherfuckers.
Yeah, and they're, like, eating parts of his brain, so they went in. They had to go to an operation, and they had to make sure it was like a 2-hour procedure, and they had to make sure to get all of it out because, like you said, it's a risky surgery because if they leave it in there, they have to cut open his head again and take it back out. But luckily, they got all of it out.
I just don't get how a tapeworm makes it all the way up to the brizzo.
So
the braino.
Well, I think they said that this was a tapeworm that is usually found in the intestines of dogs and cats, but it was in his body for some reason, and they said that just do not drink water in the wild unless it's been boiled. So I think it just might have went up his like spinal. I don't know. It's kind of disturbing. I fucking hate tape.
I don't like it.
Tapeworms are so disgusting. Like so disgusting.
I don't like it.
That's worse than foot chicken.
I'm more impressed that it lived that long.
Yeah,
well, I mean, if you don't disrupt its feeding, how long do those motherfuckers live?
Probably until the host dies.
Probably.
Or it's removed because it doesn't need a lot,
Hot diggity damn.
Damn. So, yeah. So watch out for them. This is gross. We got a lot of gross news stories today because my next one's gross too, but I'll let you go first.
This one isn't gross.
Okay.
So Pamela Anderson thinks Canadian criminals should only be allowed to eat vegan.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say the same thing.
Yeah.
Because criminals deserve to look healthy too. Well, I don't. Are they trying?
I mean,
I don't get what they're trying to say.
I don't either, and I wish I could, but when I click on the website, I get a hello there waving emoji. Please allow ads on our site or buy an ad removal pass. So I'm gonna say no. I don't want your ads. Narcity.com.
I didn't know.
Go fuck yourself.
Pamela Anderson was Canadian.
Yeah.
I feel like I feel like vegan food is pretty like expensive and healthy and like tasty. I feel like criminals should be eating the rejected Taco Bell meat. You know what I mean? Like the stuff that doesn't even
the stuff that does pass.
Yeah, exactly. Law-abiding citizens eat that and they're not happy. But yeah, I don't know. That's it's a controversial statement. I'm not ready to put a lot more money into the prison system that we already have. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I need some vegan food in my house.
See, I can't tell if she's trying to support veganism or if she's trying to say that it's a punishment.
I think she's trying to say, like, maybe it will change their brain chemistry to make them stop being criminals. It doesn't really make sense to me.
Boy, I'm almost happy I can't read the article so we don't know what she's trying to say because it's more fun to think of what the hell she's trying to say.
I mean, it's not a great idea to have, like, a ton of, like,
it's typically not a good idea to listen
actors.
to Pamela Anderson.
But I just mean, like, actors, like, they vary in, intelligence and stuff like that. I'm not saying all actors are dumb or all actors are smart, but, like,
people.
It's crazy how all actors are like, well, I have a platform. I should say something to the government. And people are like, well, maybe you should. Like, what are you going to say? Like, something about a disease that will be helpful or, like, trying to get prisoners to eat leaves? Like, I don't, there's pick and choose your battles. So.
Yeah.
But
give me your next horny one.
This isn't horny, but it depends.
And I don't want to hear it.
It depends on what your fetish is, because London sewers 40-ton Fatberg cleared after 3 weeks. Debris removed by hand, officials say. So do you know what a Fatberg is?
Is it just a big old iceberg of shit?
It is basically.
Wow, I completely guessed on that.
Really?
I'm really proud of that.
So a 40-ton block of waste known as a Fatberg was from the South London sewers after spending 3 weeks chiseling down the clog, officials say. So there's a big clog. It weighs as much as 3 double-decker buses because we're doing London measuring
Holy fuck,
scale.
3?
Yeah.
Because a double-decker is about 1.5 a normal bus, right?
It's 40 tons.
I'm going to go as far as say it's twice, but it's probably 1.5 the weight of a normal bus.
Something like that. So they're taking 80% of the sewer capacity.
Holy mackerel.
Big fucking...
It's a lot of shit.
It was a bunch of... It's not just shit. They said it was a lot of fat, oil, grease...
the shit that just doesn't move.
Yeah.
The sludge.
The unflushables, but like when you flush down there, like if you're, fat, grease, and then stuff like moist towels and paper towels and like.
I always flush them.
Yeah. Well, I
take them to the YMCA and I flush them.
I don't know. They can't trace it back to me.
Yep.
But it's all like caked in with shit and stuff too. So it's like the most disgusting thing you could ever think of.
Oh, it's like when you get when your sink is clogged and you get a clothes hanger and you untangle it
hair?
and you jam it and you pull up that hair. I puke every time. I don't want it near me.
So I was also made of wipes, diapers, cotton swabs, all that stuff.
Just the best things in the
So
world.
I guess what they're trying to say is they cleaned it all up, but
Are there voter ballots that got flushed?
but they urge everyone to help fight the fatberg by only flushing the 3 P's: pee, poo, and paper.
Oh,
So remember,
penicillin?
you can flush,
Penguins?
You can flush. No, not that. Diabetic penguins, though.
Yeah,
Gotta flush them.
Yeah.
Oh, penicillin.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of insulin.
Yeah.
Well, I'll shut up now.
Paperback books.
Anyway, so I don't know. There's a lot of fatbergs in London that I've heard of.
Pineapples?
Do they dump a lot of oil down the sink in London? Are they allowed to? I mean, they make a lot of fish and chips.
Maybe. My question is,
What is your question?
what are you supposed to do with the oil? Can't put it down the sink, can't put it down the toilet, can't put it down the shower.
You're kind of supposed to put it in
your hair?
in something.
Let it dry. I had a roommate that did that.
Fuck you. That is not true. Are
Yeah, I
you
did.
serious? That's the most disgusting. Talk about.
Oh wait,
fucking
no. Hold on. What he did is
Elmer's glue?
He would take the bacon oil and he'd use it
Dude.
to lube up his like buzzers, his like shaving buzzer things.
Dude, shut the fuck up.
Not joking.
That's the most.
What? What's wrong with that?
It's fucking bacon on your face.
So?
That's so
It's cutting
gross.
hair. It's not going like,
I don't know. I don't agree with that. But you're supposed to pour it into like a can or like some kind of receptacle and then once it hardens, you throw it in the trash can. Anyway, but you don't want to pour like hot oil into the trash can because it just burn a hole through your bag and then you're just like dealing with a hot oil bag.
Yeah.
Hot oil bag.
Right into the neighbor's living room.
It's like magma. Anyway, so yeah, watch out for them fatbergs up there.
Yeah.
Over there. We probably got a fatberg here somewhere, but
Yeah.
anyway.
Sit next to one.
Speak-
That's a new insult everybody can use, is call someone a fatberg because it's basically saying there's a giant wad of shit.
But people know
garbage.
But fat's already an insult, so you can't just be like fatberg. Like, he doesn't
But it's
even know
deeper than that.
True.
Because it's not calling someone fat.
Still
It's calling someone a giant wad of like disgusting toilet paper, like
Diapers.
shit, diapers.
Still gonna get punched in the face. You can't just call somebody a fatberg to their face and be like, they don't know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That was
But you never been
in London.
You never been to the underground?
You ever been to London town? Foggy old London town. Home of the fat shit David. Anyway, so okay.
Never been.
So let's get into this ad.
Can't be my
because if you guys like taking shits, you should you should try some coffee.
Are they still sending us coffee? Because after this, they probably won't.
But not just any coffee. Spring Heel Jack coffee. You guys go check out Spring Heel Jack. They're a great company. Coffee makes you shit, so
That's just science.
That's just-
You can't get mad at us about that. That's just science.
and if you
Hey,
want,
we're not making the science. The science is making the science.
if you want a good BM, go drink some coffee. It didn't have to rhyme. It just had cadence.
Yeah.
But go check out springheeljack.coffee. They have great coffee. It's actually really, really good. Start your morning off right with some Spring Heel Jack coffee. Anyway, let's get into these stories. We got some stories for you.
Start your story.
Okay, I'll start my stories. So, now David, have you ever had to leave something behind? Something important to you? You know, like a tiny toy cowboy on your way off to college? You ever had to leave something behind?
No.
I'm a fucking hoarder. You should see my house. I got a
I have a
fat burger.
I have a terrible problem with not throwing shit away. I still have shirts from the 7th grade. I haven't grown since the 7th grade, so the shirts still fit me.
I still have the holes, and I haven't grown either. And
Yeah, what? Yours is a Billabong shirt?
yeah, you know about that shirt.
Have you ever seen my 7th grade shirt?
No, but mine has
Really?
holes all over it.
You probably didn't know it was my 7th grade shirt. It's the I have a great Aqua Teen Hunger Force
Oh,
shirt.
yeah. I know
Yeah.
that one. Katie tried to Hulk Hogan my shirt because she was so mad that I have a shirt with so many holes in it. But like,
Who's Katie?
my girlfriend.
We get
So, like I said, you're a hoarder. That's great. Well, some of us sometimes have to face a tough decision and leave things behind in order to move forward. For some people, it's a physical object like your family pet as you move away from home. Sad. For others, it's more of an idea, like leaving a way of thinking in the past. And for some, it's 147 people on a raft.
Oh.
And guess what? Sometimes it's not always the best thing to do, as we're about to find out, as this is the story of the shipwreck of the Medusa, or also known as the Raft of the Medusa.
That's a great ship name.
It's
No bad omens attached to that.
I know, isn't that crazy? Like,
It was such a just sexy boat. The second you laid your eyes on it, you would turn rock hard.
but also like the Titanic, like that didn't have a scary name, and that hit a fatberg.
It did hit a fatberg, an icy fatberg.
Anyway, but I think like we talked about, if you guys are listeners from the beginning, we talked about the HMS Terror, which was a ship that got stranded up in the northern part of Canada, and they
Don't forget about Snake Island.
Snake Island. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
That was another
we got-
shipwreck one.
Yeah, people got stuck on Snake Island. They got eaten up by snakes.
They didn't just get eaten up by snakes. They got
Dissolved.
fucking acid dissolved by snakes.
Snake Island, baby. So, yeah, so this is not a common occurrence, but there's some weirdness involved in this, and let me get into it.
A boat's gonna sink.
This one didn't actually.
Every boat sinks.
This one kind of didn't. I'll tell you right now.
All right.
So the Medusa, or
You know, there's the Medusa.
this is a French. I can't. You know what's weird? I perfected how to say it.
You worked really hard on
And
pronouncing
then
Medusa?
yeah, when I wrote it, and then no, because it's French, so it's pronounced Medus.
Le Medusa.
Le Medusa. So, but we call it the Medusa. So,
Bonjour, je m'appelle la Medusa.
ooh, you fancy. So, like I said, the Medusa was a 40-gun Palace-class frigate, I don't know how to say that, of the French Navy that was originally launched in 1810 and took part in the Napoleonic War. I almost
There you
said
go.
Neapolitan War. Ooh, that-
Half the war was, no, 1/3 of the war was vanilla. Another third was chocolate.
Strawberry came in at the end and fought hard to get in there, and it got in somehow, and no one eats that piece.
They called it the old three thirds war,
Anyway.
full of flavor.
So after Napoleon Bonaparte was defeated in 1814 and battles became few and far between, the ship was decidedly used as a transport vessel to and from France and its remaining colonies. One colony that France was able to hold on to after the treaties were signed was the most western point of Africa, St. Louis, Senegal, not St. Louis, Missouri, people. Don't get that. There's no baseball games there. You can't go watch
Yep.
go to baseball. So, after France had been defeated, they felt it was crucial for them to get back to their original colonies to reestablish French occupation.
French.
Fuck. God damn it.
I'm a plague.
So they wanted to reestablish French occupation to avoid showing a weakened state. So they wanted to get back. Also, it said that maybe like the Brits were there, like establishing a colony. So they're like, well, we need to get back down there to like show that like this is our colony, because they signed a bunch of treaties and everything, and they said that you could have this place. And people that lived there were like, fuck you guys. How about nobody takes us? And they're like, no, we get this place. So they wanted to get back down there to get those resources, get more. Shipping ports and whatnot. So on July 5th, 1816, 4 ships, the Echo, the La Lore, the this is what happens when I try to sound like fancy. I'm like La Lore. So the Echo, the La Lore, the Argus, and the Medusa carried French officials from France to Senegal down the western coast of Africa. Among the passengers of the flagship Medusa were the French governor of Senegal. Oh, God, here we go with some names. Julien Desire Schmaltz.
Desire?
Desire. Maybe it's Desiree, but
Ooh, desire. God damn.
they should name
Imagine being born with that name and just being ugly as shit.
they
Like,
should name a cologne after him.
yeah, they probably have.
Well, his last name is Schmaltz.
It smells
right?
like salt water.
And cannonballs. So Schmaltz is his last name, though. So
Schmaltz?
Julien Desire Schmaltz. So, he was the governor of Senegal and the ship's captain, Viscount Hugues Duroy de Chamares.
Charmander?
That's his last name. We'll call him Captain Chamares.
Okay.
So some say that Captain Chamares was to be solely responsible for all the atrocities that were to unfurl on the Medusa. And for the ones who don't say that, well, they're all dead because of Captain Chamares. So he's about to fuck up big time. So, you see, Captain Chamares was a wealthy aristocrat who was loyal to the monarch, which made him qualified to captain a ship, except for the fact that he had not been out at sea for more than 20 years, making him horribly inexperienced, but of course, being very wealthy and well-connected, they let him steer the ship anyway. Sound familiar? Oh, I'm getting political. I wrote sound familiar, and I was like, damn, I'm like fucking Jon Stewart over here.
We've given up having an even playing field. It's gone too far.
So, we're French citizens now, you guys. We're allowed to say whatever we want.
We are from Le French.
I am Desire, and this is my friend's sexuality.
Mademoiselle.
So anyway, now that the Medusa had a captain and 400 passengers on board, it was time to set sail, which is when Captain Charmeret ran into his first problem. Apparently, immediately the officers aboard protested Captain Charmeret's position as captain due to his inexperience. Sound familiar? So
Shut up.
So he did the most logical thing to appease his crew. He handed off navigation duties to a philanthropist named...
full-on rapist.
I knew you were going to say that. He handed off the navigation duties to a philanthropist named Reichfort, a man with no experience guiding ships. You know what you do when people question it. You hand it to somebody even less qualified.
You gotta start somewhere, huh? Maybe he'll just knock it out the park.
God, you got a good attitude, you know that? But he actually is really fucking bad. You're going to find out what... he says something that's really fucking stupid. So while Reichford bluffed his way into running the ship, Charmeres stayed below deck relaxing with his mistress. Ooh. Sound familiar? So Captain Charmeres... What?
Sound familiar?
I don't know. I'm just trying to say... Stormy Daniels, what's up, dog?
Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought... Yeah, go for it.
I don't
Keep
know.
Going. Fucking A.
Ooh, I'm so political tonight. So Captain Charmeres wanted to get to Senegal as fast as he could, so he decided to sail along the coast of West Africa, even with the constant warning of possibly becoming shipwrecked due to a sandbar. But he didn't care and continued on as other three ships moved out further away from the coastline, losing contact with the Medusa.
I gotta say, it's really disappointing when you find out that sandbars aren't as much fun as they sound.
I don't really know what a sandbar is. That's just like a little...
It's basically like a hill underwater that boats fuck their shit up on. It's not a place where you can go and it's a sandcastle that serves alcohol.
Wait.
It's like
it's not.
It's not.
I just don't want to get this confused before I smash my ship into one of them.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not a place full of party. It's a place full of despair.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, that makes a little sense. Well,
leads to a salty grave.
Well, these other three ships knew about the lack of alcohol at this sandbar.
Yeah.
So they went out, and the Medusa thought, I'm going to stick around a little bit longer and see if I hit one. Mm-hmm. So Charmeres and Reichford ignored many signs that the water around them was too shallow to be safe, and Reichford, here we go, Reichford even thought a large bank of clouds on the horizon was Cape Blanco, and based on the miscalculation, didn't have an accurate picture of where they were sailing, resulting in the Medusa running aground about 30 miles off the coast. So he thought a bunch of clouds was like a landmass.
Okay.
You know how...
Yeah, it's easy to mix up.
He's like, wait, the blue means land on the map. Like,
it's a city in the sky.
It reminds me of Buster Bluth when he was like the first episode of like Arrested Development when he's like, I took a cartography class. And he's like, okay,
if I can just figure out what the blue part of the map is.
That's Reichford. He's just fucking up all over the place, man. He's like, I'm pretty sure if we go to those clouds, we're going to that's a cotton candy factory. And if we don't hit them, we're at least going to hit the sandbar. And there's a lot of alcohol in there. Mm-hmm. So now that the ship was stuck on a sandbar 30 miles from the coast, they had a couple of options. One was to lighten the load of the ships, possibly being able to push it up and off the sandbar. But as they looked around the ship, they realized that the heaviest and most problematic of the inventory was what, David? I said it in the beginning. I don't know if you remembered.
I don't remember 2 minutes ago.
I called the ship a
Medusa?
40-gun Palace-class frigate.
So a lot of guns,
It had 40 cannons on it.
a lot of cannonballs.
So, the cannons weigh a lot, too.
Yeah. You ever try to pick up a cannonball?
You could throw silverware in there. Also, the Pirates of the Caribbean.
It's not a blunderbuss.
You could do it, though.
Yeah,
Anyway.
maybe.
So, what they wanted to do was they wanted to throw the 40 cannons off the side. Of course, though, Captain Chalmers refused to throw the cannons overboard, while the French governor of Senegal, Julien Desire Schmaltz, refused to throw any of the barrels of flour as they were being shipped to Senegal. So he's like, hey, okay, we can't get rid of the cannons. We need to throw the barrels off. He's like, oh, sacre bleu! I'm going to make some bread when I get down there.
Yeah, I think the flour would be the first to get yeeted.
Yeah. And then...
Yeasted.
Look at you.
I think that makes sense. I feel like yeast is something
You do.
separate that you add with flour to make bread, but I don't know.
You gotta go buy a yeast packet at the store. Anyway, so, but yeah, flour. I would toss the flour. You can't. Fuck the
Flour's
flour.
heavy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, at this point, the Medusa started to break up, meaning that it wouldn't be long till they had an even bigger problem. So they devised a plan. Because when you can't move the cargo off the ship, what the fuck do? You move the people.
Yeah.
So you see, they did not have enough lifeboats on board to fit the 400-person crew. So the governor of Senegal, Schmaltz, whatever his name is, Desire Schmaltz.
Everybody desires schmaltz.
So the governor of Senegal, Desire Schmaltz, devised a plan to build a raft that would comfortably hold 200 passengers as well as provisions. Under the threat of their ship sinking, the passengers hurriedly began to build a raft, but the results wasn't the sturdy and spacious luxury raft the governor had envisioned. Can you believe that? He's like, hurry, build a raft, the ship's sinking. And then they build it, he's like, well, this wasn't what I was picturing. What the fuck is this?
Well, the mast is gone. I don't know what you want.
This is horseshit. This looks like Huck Finn built this.
Yeah, let me get my spare wood off the boat.
My spare wood? Oh, yeah, you did. Where the fuck did they get the wood?
Yeah, they had to tear something down.
They're like, throw the wood overboard.
There's no beds.
We built the raft out of cannons. So at first, passengers were hesitant to board the raft due to the frailness of it. But that was until an infantryman threatened to shoot anyone who refused to board the dodgy vessel. Which is how
They'll get it done.
They cut that scene out of the Titanic.
Yeah.
Women and children.
Didn't they? I thought that one greasy motherfucker
did he
was
pull a
like
gun?
he was tossing kids off. And,
Billy Zane.
Yeah, that Billy Zane with hair.
Billy Zane was throwing kids off, and he's like,
What happened to Billy Zane? Shit, he was in the Mummy, he was in the Titanic, he was in Zoolander.
He drowned in the Titanic.
Oh
No, he survived,
R.I.P.
I think.
R.I.P. BZ.
Remember when he used that raft full of he built a raft of kids in life jackets, and he sailed to Guam.
That was a really dark part.
Yeah, they cut that. James Cameron cut that part out when he caught a wave.
Old Jimmy kept that for his own secret archives.
So, like I said, this guy was like, I'm going to shoot anybody who doesn't get on the vessel. And he's like, okay. So everybody started getting on. And after 40 crew members boarded the rickety raft, it began to sink, and passengers had to throw their provisions overboard to make room for 107 more people who were expected to board the raft. So like I said, 40 people got on. They're like, oh, okay, I'll bring my luggage. I'm going to bring here, this plant's kind of nice. I brought this plant. I'm going to put the plant. And then 40 people were on it. And they're like, oh, it's sinking. And they're like, how many more people do you have to fit on here? Oh, a couple hundred more. And you're like, throw all your shit.
Yeah.
So everyone just started
The fern isn't making it.
Yeah, they were said to throw their shit off or whatever. So during the chaos, the governor of Senegal, comfortably seated in his armchair, was carried to one of the lifeboats, fucking carried in his chair, along with the rest of his family and a number of large, heavy chests. So he got to bring all of his shit. And actually, many of the crew members decided to stay on the Medusa since it was now holding up a little better under less weight, of course. Oh, like what I say, but of course it was still 30 miles off the coast, so they had to wait like for help to return. So only crew members got to like stay on the boat, and anybody who was like a passenger, they just had to get on that shitty little life raft
Or die.
or get shot. So the rest of the passengers chose to board the longboats to make it to shore safely. So like I said, all of the higher class people were in these longboats that were like on the side. So
Spacious.
so everybody got on longboats that had their like chests and all that nice shit. And then all like the poor people were like, you get on that shitty raft and we're gonna tow you behind our boats basically like to the shore. So the rest of the passengers chose to board the longboats to make it to shore safely. The plan was that the lifeboats would tow the raft to shore, but the officers on those boats believed their chances of survival would be stronger if they didn't have to tug the raft and its desperate survivors. So when they were a couple miles in to like I said, they're 30 miles off the coast. So when they were a couple miles in to like heading to shore, they cut the ropes that bound their boats to the raft, leaving their fellow passengers to float out to sea.
Yeah.
Fucking wild.
Yeah, like, all right, see ya. We'll see you at shore, huh?
So when the people on the raft realized what was happening, they began to cry, "Vive le roi!" Which means, come on, French guy. What does it mean?
Motherfucker, I got kicked out of French elementary school in the 3rd grade. You think I know anything else besides Je m'appelle David?
Vive le roi means
Long live or
the king.
Leroy,
Yes.
is Leroy
It's
king?
ROI. So
Oh, okay.
I'm saying Roy. Is Roy the king? I think it means
I don't
king.
fucking know.
King Roy. Anyway,
Why not?
so
I'm sure there's been a King Roy before.
hey, I bet somewhere. So as they began to cry that, it was an effort to appeal to their fellow Frenchmen.
There's a rapper named King Roy.
Stop, please. It was him.
King Roy, I got the hookup too.
Shut up. So in an effort to appeal to their fellow Frenchman's sense of duty by yelling, along with the king, like, hey, we're all in this together, and then he...
To defeat the Hun.
But it didn't work as the lifeboats sailed off with both the captain and governor on board, along with the luxury goods and wine. So they had all the good stuff on those boats.
Sweet berry wine.
I could wear my crown and drink my sweet berry juice, and I'm gonna be back home in no time. See you guys. They're just floating off with a bunch of soggy biscuits, which I'm about to get into.
You mean baguettes?
But like, what would you do if somebody started floating away and in their boats, and you're on the raft and you're just sitting there? Like, what do you do?
I mean, I would hold on to the raft and be like, I'm not weighing you down.
Well, you try to jump off and get in the boat, right?
as
they're cutting.
Oh, I thought you meant okay. Yeah.
No, they're
I'll
still
check
in
on
sight.
the fucking rescue thing.
So, but like, what happens because some of the passengers tried to climb up from the raft, tried to climb onto the lifeboats, and of course, when they tried to get on there, they were threatened with a sword.
Come at me with a sword. I dare you.
I know. I'd be like, okay, I'll like gun to my face a little hard. If you want to
Slap
swing at
that
me
out
with
of
a
your hand.
sword,
I'd rather be shot than stabbed with a sword.
you know what I do? Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
But you know what I do? I get on the boat and be like, fine, you're gonna have to hit me with that sword, and then the guy's gonna be like, I respect you, and then he's gonna give me a seat.
I would tell
That's
him.
how that works.
I would say you're gonna have to hit me with that sword, and I would take my trousers off. And no man is going to strike a nude man with a sword.
You know, there's children in the boat.
I don't care. This is life or death.
Yeah, no man strikes another man with his trousers down.
None.
28 miles from shore.
I dare him to.
So one passenger on the raft was the governor's secretary. And like I said, the raft is left behind now. So one passenger on the raft was the governor's secretary who, under extreme heartbreak and shock from being left behind by the governor, he threw himself off the raft to kill himself. Mm-hmm. Not once, but twice, forcing fellow raft members to haul him back aboard. The next day,
Wait, they pulled him in twice?
Yeah, he jumped
Okay.
off.
I wasn't sure if it was like he jumped off once, they pulled him, and they jumped off again, it was over.
Oh no, they got him up twice. I mean, but I don't think he made it. So something must have. He must have. I'll get into it right now because the next 3 days, 3 more people attempted to commit suicide quietly jumping off the raft and drifting away. Because if you make a big spectacle out of it, like the secretary did, they're going to try to pull you back on.
Yeah.
So people were like
Got to work on your pencil dive.
yeah, slipping away. You got to do like the scuba dive off the back. You know what I mean? Where you just kind of going back first. Yeah.
So I feel like even that's loud. You got to get a real good pencil dive.
Yeah, you get a good kerplunk. That's like a jackknife. You don't want to jackknife into the water.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, they just jumped into the water and drifted away and drowned. It's like fucking insane. So,
Do you have any idea how cold the water would have been at this time?
Well,
like, was it freezing cold water?
No. It was West Africa. They were just 30 miles off, so they're like, oh no, we're fucked, we're doomed. People, I think, panicked, and they're like, I would rather die of drowning, or maybe they thought they could swim. I don't know. Like maybe they thought.
Yeah, I don't see how that's a better alternative to anything that would happen on the boat.
There's probably a lot of talk on the boat too, like of people freaking out and screaming, and like that anxiety. People do shit that's like out of character.
True,
So like
very
they'll be, I need to kill myself because this is like too much to handle. So. Especially people were like, we're all dead, you know. So, like I said, next 3 days, 3 more people committed suicide, quietly jumping off the back, drifting away. The numbers increased after that, since another 20 men drowned the next night. So it's hard to tell if people are just like
20 people jumped off. Damn,
I think
you'd notice that.
I think people were jumping off and killing themselves. Like, but it's night, so people are like trying to sleep. People are like,
maybe just one dude just rolling people off of it when they're asleep.
Honestly,
I wouldn't doubt it.
I wouldn't doubt it either, but like people would start screaming and pick them up. But but we're gonna get into people rolling people off and stuff. So they're on this tiny little raft, and there's 147 people on it. So it's like it's fucking insanity.
Yeah, how this raft must be massive.
It was. I don't know the exact.
I don't get where they came up with all the material to build this raft.
I don't know either. I mean, they probably had stuff on the boat to build stuff in Senegal.
Well, I think it's very common for boats to have wood to repair the ship if there's anything that happens.
True.
But like at the same time, it's like there can't be that much wood to build a raft that fucking big. I don't know.
I just don't know how the fuck they built the raft that fast. You know what I mean? So, in the rush to load as many people on the raft as possible, crew members had to throw much of their provisions overboard, like I mentioned. In their hurry, they threw 2 casks of water overboard, leaving those on the raft with nothing but 6 casks of wine to drink. I also heard that, I know you say that like, oh, I only left them, but like, like wine dehydrates you. But like, what a fun raft for the first day.
Worth it. Worth it.
So a cask is a barrel, basically. So they had these 2 barrels of wine, and I also heard that they didn't throw the water overboard, that there was a fight over water, and the fucking barrel went over, both of them, which is totally classic, like cliche. Yeah. Like, we have one thing left. Oh, fuck. Oh, give me that flashlight. No, you give me that flashlight. And then it like rolls into the gutter and nobody gets the flashlight.
You would think everybody would just chug the wine and then save the water, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You'd be fighting over wine first. But they did have food on the raft as well. I mean, not a lot, but the only food they had was a sack of biscuits.
Any gravy?
No gravy, because
could they catch fish? Little sushi.
We'll get into that. So an officer on the Medusa had actually thrown towards the raft a sack of biscuits as the vessel separated, which was like, that's like the only guy with like somewhat of a heart in the movie, you know what I mean? He's like, here.
The big burly guy with a beard.
Yeah, and he's
maybe
like,
red hair.
He doesn't want to do it, but like he has to. So he throws
puppy dog eyes.
He throws him a sack of biscuits, which the bag missed the raft and fell into the ocean. As the survivors explained it, the biscuits were converted into paste, but we preserved it in that condition.
God,
so
that's so gross.
They had like a pasty biscuit mush in a bag.
I was just having this conversation the other day about like one of my least favorite things in the world is like gross, soggy, breaded food.
And being sticky.
Being sticky is number one, but I'm talking when it comes to eating something, if it's soggy, like I'm not going to eat it. That's disgusting to me. I hate it.
Like biscuits and gravy, you got to eat it like quick.
Yeah, I hate it.
Okay, I like it.
I just stay away from it. I hate soggy shit.
Soggier the better for me.
Oh, God. Nope.
So, with a couple barrels of wine and a bag of biscuit paste, sounds like a fucking...
Baby, you got a stew going.
It was like a Tinder date. So the passengers floated out to sea, baking under the West African sun, hoping for help. But things got worse over the next couple days as the ocean became more violent. As the waves rocked the frail raft, people began to push one another to get a more secure position on the small hunk of wood, resulting in many passengers falling overboard and into the treacherous water below. So, like, that's what I was talking about. Where
This is my nightmare.
I know, right? It's like you're trying to get to like the middle of the raft, and people on the outskirts are like getting pushed off the raft so they can get like in more, and it's like people getting tossed, and it's awful. It's terrible.
If you can find a scenario where I'm covered in honey, being all sticky, and having to eat nasty fucking wet bread, and then I'm stuck in the middle of the ocean, that's my nightmare. That's my hell.
So after the soggy biscuits ran out, which was after the first day, they ate all. I mean, there's 147 people on board. Like, you know, that ran out after the first day. At least they have like 6 casks of wine, so that's like a lot more. But after the biscuits ran out,
Lord forbid.
They resorted to eating the leather of their pouches,
Fruit leather,
belts, and hats. So they're eating the leather, which is
Is there any like nutritious value in that?
it's animal hide. So like maybe
It's like extra cooked jerky.
So I knew a guy who was a POW, and he said that they would boil their shoes or something like that because like
Like
the
get them nice and soft.
The glue was like
Get you high.
Animal fat. No, stop assuming things. But like he said that like we had like the sole of my shoe like had like some glue on it that was made of like animal fat, and people would like try to make soups out of that and stuff like that.
Baby got a stew going.
But exactly, throw a couple shoes in there. But yeah, they ate their pouches, belts, and hats, and even some men ate linen, which is, you know, like those weird kids in like elementary school who are like eating sheets of paper.
Yeah. Toilet paper is delicious.
No, not toilet paper, just like, you know, plain white 11 by 8.5.
That's how you keep your secrets.
Is that how you keep your secrets?
That's how you write them down, you swallow them, and they're yours to keep.
I found an easier way.
Oh.
So, luckily, a group of tiny fish, like you said, because they didn't have any fishing equipment.
Yeah.
So, luckily, a group of tiny fish, slightly smaller than herring, got trapped between the side timbers of the raft. The
I thought a herring was a bird.
Nope. But I Google what a herring is because now you're confusing me. No. These are like these look like little sardines.
Oh, okay.
I probably close to sardines or something like that. So little herrings, and a group of them got caught between, you know, the big wooden raft. So the castaways lunged at the fish and managed to store 200 of them in an empty cask. However, the fish was not enough, and the passengers began eating the flesh of the fallen comrades.
Ugh.
So you
Moving
know,
on to new beef jerky.
You know, I always get these stories that have cannibalism involved. That's my MO at this point.
I mean, every good stuck at sea story has cannibalism in it.
You gotta have some cannibalism, right?
Yeah.
So, as one survivor explains, our hunger was so great and our portion of fish so small that we added to it some human flesh, which dressing rendered less disgusting. So it goes to the age-old adage, can I get some ranch with that?
Did they have ranch then? When was ranch invented? I'm asking the real questions
They had
here.
6 casks of wine and a couple little to-go things of ranch.
Hidden Valley.
Isn't that funny? Like, to-go things is a proportion, is a certain amount. I got a to-go thing of ranch. You know exactly how big that is too.
So ranch
your
was
mind
made...
your mind just pictured a little tiny cup. They usually put like ketchup or ranch in with a little lid on top.
So ranch was invented by Steve Henson, who was a contract plumber at the time in Alaska.
Uh-oh.
And him and his wife in 1954 opened up Hidden Valley Ranch. I didn't realize that Hidden Valley Ranch was the original ranch.
They started ranch?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Shut up.
53. Everything before 54 must have sucked.
They must be eating their shoes and shit. So,
yeah,
like
plumber made ranch.
Wow.
He saw that shitberg and he said, "There's better things in life to be done."
Why did they name it Hidden Valley Ranch and not Plumber Made Ranch?
I think you have the answer.
They should have called it Pipe Full of Ranch. I'm gonna pipe you full.
Fatberg Ranch.
Anyway,
Mayonnaise.
by the 8th day, only 27 of the 147 passengers remained, and half of those remaining were severely injured or suffering from hallucinations. Wine was the only sustenance they had left, so the more sound half of the survivors decided that in order to make the remaining provisions last longer, they would throw the weaker raft mates overboard.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I mean, that would make sense.
you know the old sleep and slip?
Oh, yeah.
Fall asleep, slip them in the water.
That's why sleeping bags were invented. You can just eat that burrito into the ocean.
It reminds me of the scene from Friday the 13th when Jason picks up the guy in the sleeping bag and yeets him against a tree. Have you seen that?
I mean, for fuck's sakes, which Friday the 13th
I think
was
it's
that?
one of the newer ones, but it was a great kill. But, like, these
Yeah.
guys are just like, hey,
Top 10 kill.
John's asleep, roll him in, you know?
Yeah.
Because, like, at that point, it was probably only hours before they're probably going to go. You
And
know?
they're probably too weak to really, like, save themselves.
It's honestly terrifying that everybody is, you know, what's the starvation thing? They say 3 days without water, it goes 3, what is it? What's the whole thing? Is like 3 minutes without oxygen, 3 days without water, 3
I thought it was
weeks without
Yeah, 3
food.
weeks without food. Is that what it is?
It was supposed to be something like that. And
Yeah.
obviously the numbers fudge a little bit, but it's crazy that we're all like, you know, a couple weeks out, like we're 7 days out from like being like close to starvation. It's
Yeah.
like, it's so scary, you know?
Yeah.
So always bring a Cliff Bar with you.
Yep.
This act left the remaining passengers with enough wine to last them for 6 days, and by the 13th day out at sea, the Argus, one of the ships in the original voyage that actually went out to sea because they didn't want to hit a sandbar, found the remaining men only sips of wine left in the cask. So, like I said, for 6 days, they were only living off wine, which is
That sounds like a
So-
housewife's problem.
silver lining. I don't know. Like, is there any wine companies out there that are just like, not-
Castaway wines.
God, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you thought of that so quick.
I am a genius.
It's kind of in poor taste, but like I get it.
Yeah.
So, out of the original 147 people on board the raft, 140 people on board of the raft, only 15 people remained.
Yeesh.
10 of them unable to move much of their body. All their joints were like locked up, and like they were so dehydrated and so
Your
starved.
muscles are just probably cramped
Oh,
up. And,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the 15 men were taken aboard the Argus and given broth and wine. Why do you need? You guys don't have anything else.
Yeah.
You guys don't have anything else.
Nothing.
Just more wine. Okay, more wine. Okay.
Like, it's white this time.
we get you a rosé. So yeah, they're given broth and wine, and then they are taken to St. Louis, Senegal, to recover. And Captain Chaumaret did return to the side of the wrecked ship that was still sitting on the sandbar, not to see if any of his crew or passengers had survived, but to retrieve the gold that was still aboard the ship, that piece of shit. So when Captain Chaumaret arrived to the ship, he was actually surprised to find out 3 of the 17 men who had decided to stay behind on the frigate had managed to survive for 54 days.
Whoa.
So they had
That's like 2 months.
yeah, so 17 of the men of the crew members stayed on board the ship that was stuck on the sandbar.
Yeah.
And they lasted 54 days, and only 3 were survived. But like, there were more provisions on that ship.
Yeah.
But still, like, really crazy to think that, like, what happened to those guys?
Yeah.
Did they die of starvation? Did they jump? Did they try to swim back? Did they, like, you know? They're like, are people not coming for us anymore?
Mermaids.
When do you give up? Yeah, exact. Mermaids.
Mermaids took them.
You know, sirens.
The mermaids
You
took
know those sexy ass ladies sitting on the rocks and then you jump overboard? Tie me to the mast.
them.
So when Chaumaret returned to shore, he was immediately from, you know, obviously getting the rest of his fucking gold off the ship. He was immediately court-martialed and was found guilty of incompetent navigation and for abandoning his ship before all of his passengers had made it safely off. He only served 3 years in jail for the death of hundreds of people, though. So,
Yikes.
Fuck that. I mean, that's what happened.
We think the system's bad now.
Exactly. That guy
Yeesh.
killed hundreds of people, and the other guy thought clouds were land,
Yeah.
and they thought people were food.
Yeah,
And ranch was invented. They thought
Yeah,
that.
they
It
thought
wasn't.
it.
It's Plumber Ranch. So
it wasn't such a hidden valley to them.
I like to... So if there was ever one good thing to come of all this tragedy, is that French romantic painter Theodore Guricult. People who are like art know who this guy is.
Okay.
Theodore Guricult became intensely interested in this horrible disaster. At the age of 27, he started to do heavy research into the happenings of the incident, and even apparently went to the trial of Captain Charmray himself. All of the research and inspiration to capture such visceral emotions in a painting led to the creation of the Raft of Medusa, which depicts the desperation that took place on the raft the day that they were shipwrecked.
Yeah.
You can still go visit the giant 16 by 24 foot painting if you ever find yourself in France. It's in the Denon wing of the Louvre, only right around the corner from another very famous painting, the Mona Lisa.
Oh, okay.
So if you guys ever...
I know her.
If you...
I know that bitch.
Wait, she was on a fucking boat. No, so she had the saber. She was like, you climb on this boat, I'm going to cut you down a size.
She was swanging.
But if you guys ever find yourself at the Louvre, why don't you go around the corner, go check out in the Denon wing, and you guys could go see the inspiration from this story, the Raft of Medusa, and it's actually pretty terrifying. David, I'll show you the picture. I had it up before.
Okay.
And it's actually a really like.
So you have an image of it, and it's an accurate image of it? Because I'm curious
you
what it
mean?
looked like. It's an act.
So he did.
It's what it looked like.
So this guy,
Because I've been very confused on what this fucking raft looked like.
So this guy did a lot of research on like what it might have looked like. He went to the trials. He didn't actually see the raft or anything like that, but
okay.
it's an artist's depiction of it, and this is what he came up with. And it's actually.
Oh, I've seen that before.
Have you really?
Yeah.
It's actually like really haunting and like beautiful at the same time.
Yeah.
And, like there's so much stuff going on. Like these are the paintings I like. These are the kind of paintings.
The ones with those little giblets between the men's legs.
What does that mean? Oh, the one where they're naked?
Yeah.
No, I don't. That's not a key point for me. But I'm like, this painting sucks. No naked guys in it. Oh, see that little baby cherub angel with a little wiener? Oh,
And he's got to be ghost white.
No, yeah, exactly. They all have way better bodies than me. So fuck.
Well,
You got why all these dead guys in hell got abs and I don't. All these angels got abs. All these devils got abs, and where are my abs?
I mean, they knew the same thing that the guy that made Twilight knew. If you don't make it sexy, no one's gonna read it.
Well, you know what happened, right? You know why I don't have abs? Ranch was invented.
Ranch was invented.
That's why these guys look so good.
Yeah, they didn't have that.
All
ranch.
they're eating is herring and people
Yeah.
and wine.
That's
and
that diet.
Soggy biscuits, and I'm over here ranching it up. Legalize ranch. Anyway,
Legalize it.
Anyway, that's my story of the Medusa, baby.
All right. Well, now, Toby, I know you're a huge fan of knights, kings, and jesters. Big fan.
Oh, you know me, my lord. You know I'm such a big fan of all the stuff medieval.
So I want to bring up this massive royal family and the strange thing that they took very, very seriously. Now, through the time of man, there have been many strange people who had their own idea of what making the perfect human was and keeping their bloodline perfect. So today I'm going to talk about the Habsburg royal family.
Ooh, I don't know about them at all, but I thought you were going to take a Frankenstein left.
No.
When you said perfect man.
No, I took
far
a
from
I took a
perfect.
Habsburg left. So the Habsburg house refers to one of the most influential and powerful royal houses of Europe. And this huge family had a massive grasp on what ruled the world. Oh, they had a massive grasp on what ruled the world at the point of this time.
Okay.
Like, they basically ran everything.
That's pretty cool.
And So the throne of the Holy Roman Empire was occupied by the Habsburg from 1438 until the extinction of the male bloodline in 1740. So over 300 years.
No, wait, whoa. What? They got extinction of male bloodline?
We'll get into it.
Oh, no.
So this family also produced kings of Bohemia, Hungary, Croatia, Portugal, and Spain, also controlling smaller areas of the Netherlands and Italy.
So these guys just like went in, this family went in and was like, we're going to become kings of this like country or like parts of this country. And even though we're not from here,
Yeah,
because
like
they're
everywhere.
that powerful.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So you could say they had a lot of power. And now, how can a family like this take control over so much land, you may ask? Well, they had their own little family factory that produced damn near a whole army of Habsburgs.
Oh shit, no way.
But
I was going to say scooters.
well, no. But how you may ask they had so many people to rule so many kingdoms? And that would be good old incest.
Oh, incest.
Yeah, they like the old incest.
You know what they say about incest, right?
I mean, I've heard a lot of things about it, but please proceed.
It's good.
It's good. It's good stuff.
It'll make you left-handed.
It's trendy.
All you left-handers out there, I know what you really are.
The truth is out. So the family saw no flaw within their blood, thinking that they were the best of the best, and saw no reason to breed outside of the family name. Now, it's no shocker that breeding within the family for decades will produce some, well, interesting side effects.
You get yourself a little frog boy.
Yeah.
Like the Glams boy.
Exactly.
But then the upswing of that is a Targaryen, who are just like, they can talk to dragons, they're real hot,
They can't be burned by fire.
a little crazy. You like a little crazy.
So 9 out of the 11 marriages that occurred from the 184 years they ruled just Spain alone, from 1516 to 1700, were all incestuous.
Wow.
So yeah,
You said 9 of the 11 marriages?
yeah,
Do you think that they got really mad at the
the two
yeah,
probably
How dare you?
disgusting.
How about you go find yourself a nice Habsburg boy?
But mama, she has a beautiful kingdom. No, she ain't your aunt's daughter. I don't want it.
No, you're not throwing up during intercourse. You have to do that.
So modern researchers widely believe that the generations of inbreeding among the Habsburg is what caused their downfall. Due to the incest of the family had a terrible genetic line that started to progressively deteriorate until Charles II, the final male heir, and poor Charles was physically incapable of producing children, ending the rule.
I suffer from soggy penis.
Well, this brings us to the world-famous Habsburg jaw.
Oh, world famous. I know about this jaw.
You would.
So like they already got uppercutted 12 times.
So while the bloodline was intact, the inbreeding within the family led to a number of peculiar physical traits, especially one known as the Habsburg jaw. This condition is described as a protrusion of the lower jaw to the point that it's super noticeable.
Oh, so they have an underbite. Underbite? Underbite?
Yes. So
Isn't it crazy how like the ugliest people think that they have the best genes?
yeah.
They're like, our genetics are great. You never find like a beautiful person who's just like, I think that we should all like inbreed because my genetics are best. You're like,
Yeah, maybe
always,
it's just because you agree with them.
it's always guys like, hey, hello, my jaw can catch rainwater. And you're like, oh, okay.
I never have to drink water. It just comes to me.
Sometimes bird perch on my bottom teeth.
I am one with nature. So this horrific underbite would actually interfere with them talking because they could not fully close their mouths.
What a bunch of idiots.
It is said when the first Spanish Habsburg ruler, Charles V, arrived in Spain in 1516, he did not have the ability to close his mouth. and one very bold and what I could only imagine very quickly dead peasant shouted at him, "Your Majesty, shut your mouth. The flies in this country are very insolent."
He's like, gracias.
Choked on one there.
I forget that. Are they? I mean, they're not only Spanish, like you said. Are they from Spain? But do they rule other countries?
I think they were from Austria.
Oh, okay.
There was so much backstory to each individual person ruling individual places. Like, it's such a big story that there's no way in hell I could write about all of it. So I'm kind of focusing more on their incest and how it went wrong.
I was gonna say, like, they could go to like start in Austria and go to like Germany. They could go to like Spain and like marry like a nice Spanish woman or a Spanish man, and then be like, oh wait, no, they're all having sex with each other. So like, it kind of goes back, like they're all Austrian or something, you know?
Yeah, I forget where exactly it came from. So the family's reasoning to keeping the bloodline clean from anything else but family was also an attempt to make sure that their family continued their reign. But like I said before, the constant decades of incest started to take its toll on the family line. A series of genetics would start to make its way, gaining momentum with every generation, including birth defects. The royal family suffered a high rate of miscarriages, stillbirths, and neonatal deaths.
What's neonatal?
I don't know, but it sounds cool.
Yeah.
It's probably not cool. It's probably like the worst thing ever.
Like, sounds cool.
I mean, it's neonatal. It's
It does
neo.
sound cool. It sounds like something in the Matrix. Only
Exactly.
because Neo.
And so it was also said that only half of the Habsburg's children survived to the age of 10.
I mean, like, I feel bad, but also like,
You kind of deserve it.
yeah, it's like,
They
it's
kinda had
almost
it
like
coming.
they're like, hey, don't do this, and they're like, we'll keep trying.
Yeah. So, so only half of the children would survive to the age of 10 years old, a much smaller rate from the 80% of survival rate from the other Spanish families of that period.
Yeah, I mean, because they have hole in the heart disease. You know,
I got-
you got a big hole in your heart.
You could just throw a dartboard and it will hit what they've got at this point. So the marriages between the close family members also increased the chance that there would be harmful recessive genes, and they would keep building and building with the distinctive jaw being the least harmful, but they all had it, and it would soon be worn by the whole family.
I feel bad for like shitting on this like entire family, because this is back in, you said 15 something, right?
Yeah, like 15 to the 17.
They didn't, I don't know when Gregor Mendel started doing his pea pods and stuff like that, but like I don't think they knew that what they were doing was...
It wasn't illegal.
No,
it
no,
just
no.
was kind of weird.
I just mean, like, I don't think they knew what they were doing was like inhumane, where it's like, obviously you're not supposed to do this because like your babies are going to come out deformed and you're making them have a harder life. So like,
Yeah.
I don't want to like shit on them, because that's like people being like, oh my God, you smoked cigarettes in the 50s. And they're like, we didn't know what cigarettes did to us.
Yeah,
you know what I
everybody
mean?
did it.
So it's like, yeah, I guess it was more common than
It was
anything.
more common. It was
So-
more common, but it wasn't very common for it to be going for like decades and
Yeah.
like strictly just that.
I mean, two people were like, hey, I find this other person pretty cute, you know? And
I've known her my whole life.
That's not my cousin, you know?
Yeah. So, believe it or not, there are a few very famous people from history who were inflicted by this jaw.
Yo, are you serious?
One being Marie Antoinette.
Ooh, let them eat cake. I don't think she ever said that. But she got her head chopped off, so what
Yeah.
up?
Although she was historically known for her beauty, many cases forgot to mention her projecting lower lip, which, you know, with being a minor thing, it appeared that she just had an adorable constant pout.
You know what's kind of weird too? The fact that they're like, oh, she was so beautiful, but like the standard of beauty back then was like, you put a layer of white paint on your face,
Yeah.
and you wear a wig, and you don't take a bath for a month, and you're like, yeah, that's not the
You just
same
had to have
standard.
money to be considered beautiful, which I mean can kind of reflect now, I guess.
Do you know
but-
like royalty, like really high up people didn't brush their teeth because they thought brushing your teeth was a sign of like
weakness?
I guess so.
You pussy.
So it's like, I mean, what is really like beauty is in the eye of the era, I guess. You know what I
No,
mean?
for sure. For sure. So she had a very minor jaw of this issue,
Okay, so not big.
which she got off easy compared to the last of the Habsburgs who ruled over Spain. And this would be Charles II, who took the throne in 1665. So Charles II of Spain was nicknamed, here we go, El Hecazito, which translates into the
cow mouth.
It translates into the hexed one.
Oh.
Yeah. So he had a lower jaw that was so jacked up that he struggled to speak or even eat a meal.
Are you fucking kidding me? That bad?
That bad. But his jaw was far from the worst thing that he got from generations of incest. King Charles II of Spain was incredibly short, weak, unable to have children, mentally handicapped, and suffered from numerous intestinal problems and could not speak until he was 4 years old.
Put him on a big chair. Let him rule the country.
That's what blows my mind. It's like how, like, I mean, just because you're like bloodline doesn't mean, I mean, that's why we don't really do that in most places now, but it's just like, you have someone that has so many issues. It's like, how do you let them rule?
Dude, that's a frog prince. If I've
Yeah.
ever seen one, that's a monster of glams that they didn't have a big enough castle to hide him in.
Yeah.
That jaw could not fit through the drawbridge. There's like, I guess we should put him on the throne. But
They all look like Quagmire.
giggity, giggity, run your country.
So, one French ambassador who was sent to investigate the king before a marriage wrote back that, in quotes, the Catholic king is so ugly as to cause fear and he looks ill. just roasted him. Roasted him.
He scares me and he's sick. And
Yeah.
I'm sick of how scared he is. I mean, I'm scared of how sick he is.
Yeah. So, what was it that left Charles II so messed up? His father, Philip IV, had married his own sister's daughter. A dangerously close relationship that made Philip IV Charles II's father and great uncle.
It's... See, that's a family tree I don't want to see because there's too many fucking lines.
It's like a circle.
It is a circle. It's a family bush.
Yeah. So, scientists believe now that even though his father married and had a kid with his niece, through the decades of incest building up, it would have been just as bad as him having a child with his own sister, because it just like piled up so much to the point that it's like she could have been his twin sister and it wouldn't have been worse.
I mean, do you think that there was like any hesitation for any of them to be like, I'm gonna date my niece? And do you think he was just like, I don't really like.
I mean,
this.
didn't Woody Allen date his niece or something like that?
No, Woody. Wait, no. Woody Allen dated a girl that he adopted. So yeah, he adopted.
That one's just morally bad.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Not scientifically.
he adopted this girl who from like Vietnam or something like that, and then when she turned 18, they started dating, which was like, that's not technically the right way to go about it, but like he technically like it just looks bad. It looks really bad. You know what I mean?
could say that.
So, but I mean, what's worse? Like,
it's all bad.
No, I know, but like,
But
this
I mean,
family is like,
yeah.
it's blood niece. It's like one is just like legal. I don't know. Sounds like I'm defending Woody Allen, but like I don't know.
It's just I feel like it's one of those things that you can't really blame them because it's like so many centuries or decades of like their families doing this shit that it's like they don't know it's wrong.
Exactly. It's just
Yeah.
like we have. It's like, oh, okay, yeah. Well, we have to date within the family, and you're.
Yeah.
I guess the niece is. She's kind of cute with the jaw because it looks like mine, and I think I'm cute. And
Yeah.
I also think that birds are my friends, and I talk to them. You know?
I'm King Birdbath III. So scientists also said that Charles died at the age of 39, which made him a miracle because they think that he was an accumulation of 2 centuries worth of harmful traits being passed down to a single body.
So wait, so he didn't get a girl?
I believe he did, but he was unable to have children, so the bloodline stopped with him.
Oh, because nature's like, yo,
Stop.
fuck this.
Stop it.
Yeah, exactly.
Stop it. Get some help. Michael Jordan. And that is where the royal Habsburg bloodline came to a dead halt. just goes to show that sometimes the one thing that we believe is the best thing for us ends up being the thing that ends it all. So please think twice before you decide to try to rule the world filled with an army of inbred children.
Duly noted.
Yeah, don't do it.
It was in the back of my mind. I wasn't like.
I mean, we've all considered it, obviously. Yeesh.
Anyway.
Ay caramba.
That's crazy, though. Holy shit. It just
Because you knew what happened back then, but you've never actually heard the tales.
I mean, like, people, when Game of Thrones came out, people were like, this is so fucked up. He's marrying his sister. I'm like, it's just like.
Read a textbook, buddy.
I'm like, this is history. This is, like, nothing new,
Yeah.
So it's like, I know we have morals now where we don't do that because we understand the implications of, like, dating too close. I mean, and even like we have problems with Woody Allen, who like didn't date too close, but like legally because we signed a piece of paper that like she was his daughter. So it's like that. Even like the fake daughter thing is like weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like she's not his real daughter, but like she's adopted. So
yeah,
it's just weird. We have higher standards now, and we're also not. We have.
Who knows? Maybe in a couple hundred years from now, people are going to be like, "Ew, they dated their own species. That's disgusting. They all came from the same puddle."
Yeah, I'm having sex with a jellyfish as of right now, and
is that? Oh,
it is painful.
That's that smell.
It is painful.
I've been seeing you wince in pain.
Anyway, well, thank you guys for tuning in. We love it when you do, and we love telling you these stories, and giving us an hour or whatever. How long were you?
What we're at an hour and 11 minutes basically.
An hour and 11 minutes of your time. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
If you guys want more information, you guys could go to our Instagram, Facebook. I can't think of the last one. Twitter.
Oh yeah.
And go follow us there. Go to campstrange.com. We got all the hyperlinks there. And if you guys want to send us some spooky stories or just an email in general, either DM us on Instagram or just send it to campstrangepodcast@gmail.com or click the contact tab in our website, and we will love to send you a little something back. And we also have if you could rate, review, and subscribe, that would be amazing. We haven't mentioned that in a while, so if you guys could do that, we'd love it on Apple Podcasts or whatever you're listening to this on. And if you guys want a shirt or a mug or one of those two, because that's all we have right now,
go fucking buy it, because we're not giving that out for free anymore. That time is past.
We're too poor. So go check that out. They're soft shirts and they're hard mugs, so go see it and check it out. And David, what else do we got?
Got a paper bag full of chicken wings.
See, that's the thing. That's the problem now. You're too ready, and I'm not ready because I've said all that stuff, and it's like so on the mind that paper bag full of chicken wings. Okay, we have a toothpaste tube full of salmon paste.
I got the toilet paper from the White House. Yeah, I stole it.
We have curlers. We have your mom's curlers you could put in your hair. And
are they beer cans?
They're not beer cans. They're the Velcro curlers that are different colors. And now you just look like a.
Do people still use those?
My mom did when I was little.
Yeah, I feel like my grandma used to use them, but I feel like I haven't seen anybody use them in a while. I've got Snoop Dogg's mail he threw away. I went digging in his garbage.
We have Band-Aids that don't stick to your cuts. Actually, they do stick to your cuts, but they stick. The sticky part is on your cut.
And the loose part's on the skin.
Yeah, and you're like, oh no, what have I done?
Oh no.
It's bad, and then your skin's all like weird looking underneath, and it's all white and formless.
I got a gel that makes your skin green.
I have headphones that just scream in your ears.
I've got a kite that looks like a velociraptor.
I got Bluetooth that's red teeth.
Red tooth.
Red teeth.
Is it too late to patent red tooth?
Red teeth.
Red teeth?
Mm-hmm.
I've got a Maltese.
I got a falcon.
I've got the Maltese falcon. I've got a soft ball full of gerbils.
I got Heelys and a hill in San Francisco.
Boy, let it rip, huh?
Dangerous. That's more dangerous than sexing your cousin.
Yeah, probably.
I'd say so.
I would hope so.
You're going to end up with that fucking jaw when you reach the bottom of that hill.
Mm-hmm. I've got a rifle that shoots love.
That's so 70s of you, dude. Wow, that's very cool.
Yeah.
I have a placard for your desk that says "Bad bitch in charge."
I've got a guy that's gonna follow you around work and just break dance right behind you.
I got tiny pants for your shirts.
I got tiny shirts for your tiny pants.
I think that's it. I don't know what the fuck we're talking about anymore. I don't know how many deep we're supposed to do this, but if you guys are still listening,
Good on you.
good on you. Okay, well, thank you guys for tuning in. Like I said, we love it, and we love you, and we love all of this spooky shit and weird shit and strange shit. So, David, do you have anything else to say before we leave?
Don't forget to be conscious of where you are ripping open that Velcro wallet, because movie theater's not a good place to be doing that.
And don't forget to stay strange.